Do you want to know what one of the most challenging wine pairings that I've ever had to deal with in my 20 years of doing this is? It is pairing cheese, honeycomb, and wine. You'd think the three of those things would go together so perfectly, and they do, but it was actually harder than I thought. So I'm going to take you through the missteps that I took and also tell you what I ended up with. The first thing you have to know is that I love a good goat cheese. And when I took this Bûche de chèvre with the tart green apples and the fresh honeycomb and I put it into this really yummy grilled cheese sandwich, I thought for sure that that would sing with some of the white wines from the Loire Valley that are based on Sauvignon Blanc and Chenin Blanc. Wines like Sancerre and Vouvray. I thought for sure those types of wines that would go really well with this dish. But what I found happened when I did that is I couldn't really taste the wine. The wine kind of just fell flat. It was almost like I was drinking water with the delicious succulent dish. So I decided to go for something a little bit different, a little bit sweeter to match some of that intensity of the honey, and I ended up with the perfect picnic wine, a Riesling, a German Riesling. So once I did the German Riesling with my grilled cheese sandwich, it was so good and delicious, and I just kept eating more and I kind of needed a nap after all of it, but it was totally worth it. The second wine pairing that did surprise me was that I had this salad that you might remember with the beets, the apricot, the delicious Australian blue cheese, and the fresh honeycomb on it. And what would you think with all of those flavors? Typically with a salad, you might go for a rosé or again, a light crisp white wine, but no. Again, those wines just didn't cut it with all the flavors in my salad. What I really loved the most was a total surprise to me, which was a Spanish garnacha or Grenache wine that was like $12, but it was so good with my salad. I think the reason why is the same reason that I thought about adding pomegranate seeds to my salad. Not just for the beautiful color of the pomegranate seeds, but because I thought that that tartness, but also that berry goodness would go really well in this salad. And when I ended up with the Grenache paired with the salad, it kind of had the same effect. So go figure. But that's what I learned I liked the most for my personal taste. Then for the third item, which was this cheese board that ended up being pretty much my whole table, we had so many different flavors there. I had chocolate, I had nuts, I had berries, I had apricots, I had, of course, the delicious cheeses, and especially the centerpiece of it all was the fresh honeycomb topped with pieces of the Parmigiano Reggiano. So the route you could go with this is to go with a tawny port, as I've talked about in my past videos. A tawny port will always go well with a cheese course, especially if it comes at the end of a meal. The other thing I ended up doing was a wine from the northeast region of Italy, which is where they make the great Amarone wines. But if you don't want to spend $50, $60 to be able to buy an Amarone, you can buy a wine called Valpolicella, and especially a Valpolicella called Ripasso. I'll link to some of these below, but once you get a wine like that, it has some of the unctuousness that you get from a tawny port, but without all the sweetness and all the alcohol. So if I had to sum up what I learned about this adventure, I would say go for wines that have a lot of fruit intensity to them, which makes sense because fruit tastes delicious with honey. I'd love to know from you guys, what do you pair with honey? When you have honey in a dish, what wines go really well for you that you enjoy? And subscribe to get more videos like this.